Well, Steve, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate your time. How have you been able to satisfy your insatiable urge to hit cricket balls during lockdown?
Yeah, well, it's been very different, that's for sure. I picked up a bat once I think it was about a month ago. I had my first sort of hit back and hit him well. And then I thought, geez, it might be a bit too early to get back into it. So I put it back on the back burner for a bit, and I'll probably start again next week. But it's been, very different. Obviously, the world's incredibly different at the moment. Obviously, we just saw the test match, or the first two tests with no crowds over in England, and some good cricket played, but incredibly different. But it's been kind of good in a way, just to have a little bit of a break and freshen up again mentally, and get some good physical work in. Probably as fit as I've ever been at the moment, and as strong as I've ever been. So from that point of view, it's been good. But yeah, I'm ready to get back into it now, that's for sure.
Did I see you'd done a half marathon or something?
I've done two of them. Yeah, it's certainly something I never thought I'd do. But with a bit of time on our hands, particularly early on in the lockdown, I guess all you could sort of do outside was exercise. So just started running and kept on running and got further and further, and completed a half marathon twice. So it's pretty cool.
There's a rumor about your guitar playing that's improved or something, and is there some story that you're making a song or something?
I don't know. I have been playing a little bit and getting a bit better, but I don't know if there's any songs coming out anytime soon.
Talking of sort of how you keep in shape and keep practicing, I've got this shot of you somewhere indoors. There was a shot you posted on Instagram, I think, of this one here. Is that in your garage, sort of downstairs, hitting the ball against a wall?
Yeah, it was. I thought I'd try and I get lots of requests on Instagram to, give some hints and tips and different drills and things. And I just remember that was something that I used to do all the time as a kid, just, watching the ball closely onto the bat, hitting against a wall, and just doing that for hours on end. So I thought, why not share it? And, while people are stuck indoors, if they've got the space and are able to do it, all you need is a cricket bat and a tennis ball, and you're good to go. So, plenty of comments on it, and plenty of people trying it out, which has been good. So hopefully they're helping out their hand-eye coordinations while they're, I guess, not able to go out and do what they'd like to be doing outside.
When do you actually foresee your first proper match outside?
I think there's good conversations happening at the moment with us coming over to England for the one days and T20s there. So let's hope that that happens. Fingers crossed. And I'm sort of preparing for that at the back end of August to head over there and start, I think, early September or thereabouts. So not too far away now. So start batting next week and try and get myself into some rhythm again. And I'm looking forward to getting back out in the middle, that's for sure.
Is it a case of, do you get your wife Danny to do some throwdowns, or have you had any of that?
No, I haven't. Well, we're actually back training with New South Wales at the moment, but obviously, Victoria's kind of had a few spikes at the moment in cases of corona, and there's been a few cases popping up here in New South Wales. So the the near future's kind of a bit uncertain. But we've been back training with New South Wales, and guys have been hitting and doing all their stuff outdoors. So, I'll probably slip into that again next week if everything stays the same as it is now. But we'll just wait and see. Also,
news today that the IPL might be starting probably end of September in the UAE. tell us about your thoughts about the IPL. This could be your first season as a captain for the whole season. So you took over halfway through last year. So how do you look ahead to that?
It'd be the second. I captained one whole season with Pune in the second year I was there, Super Giants. But for Rajasthan, yeah, it would be the whole first time. Yeah, I've done it for the whole time. So, look, the IPL is an incredible tournament. I've said that for years. Since the first year I played, you're playing with and against the best players from around the world, and it's such a great learning experience to, share a dressing room with Ben Stokes and Josh Butler and guys like that to be able to sort of see how they go about their business and learn off them at the same time. So it is an incredible tournament, and yeah, fingers crossed everything goes to plan, I guess, with the organisers, and we're able to get a tournament underway.
Yeah, and I mean, you must be, looking forward to the news today that Ben Stokes has sneaked up to number 3 in the world rankings in batting, as well as number 1 in all-rounder rankings. So actually, I'm sure you've had an influence on him, but I guess he has an influence on you. I mean, I recall last IPL actually watching you and him practicing together in the nets at Jaipur, and you were both batting for, I would say, nearly 2 hours together. So, and I'm sure you sort of feed off each other, don't you?
Yeah, look, I really enjoy working with Stokesy, that's for sure. He's he's a million miles an hour everything he does. So he fields his backside off. He works in the gym when we're not at training, and then every moment he's at training, he does everything 100%. So those are the players you want in your side, ones that are trying to get better all the time and do whatever they can for the team. And Stokes is a terrific team man. He gets on with everyone, helps out all the young Indians as much as he can, and he's a big influence around the team. So certainly very lucky that we've got him in our side. He's one of the best players in the world at the moment, and as we've seen in the test match just gone by, it looks like he's just getting better and better and smarter in the way he's playing. So as an international opposition player, not good signs, but as a Royals teammate, love it.
And, with the Royals in mind, we just brought out this new book, Manoj Badali, the owner of the Royals, and I, and we really sort of tried to focus on how the IPL will evolve, the incredible influence it's had already and how it will evolve in future. So firstly, what influence has it had on you as a player? You've been involved in the IPL almost since the start with different teams. So how has it freed up your game, for instance? Has it enabled you to talk a lot of technique and strategy with other players from other parts of the world? What sort of influence has it had on you?
I think it's had loads of positive influences, that's for sure. I think going back to, when I first started in the IPL, I don't even remember what year it was, 2013 maybe, or thereabouts. Like I said before, just training and playing with the best players around the world, learning off them, how they go about their business, how they prepare. I think playing under pressure, I learned a lot about that. Playing as an overseas player, there's only 4 of them, and sometimes you've got some quality players sitting on the bench behind you as well, that could be playing in your spot. So playing under pressure, particularly in front of, obviously we know India is such a, cricket mad nation, absolutely love it. And it's a great place to play. But fans, just get stuck into the game as, they come through the gates in huge numbers, and I guess the pressure you're under out in the middle, it's, particularly when I was younger and, first came on the scene, it was a great learning experience for me. The other one is, I think you're playing so many back-to-back games, you face lots of similar scenarios. So say one day you need, 50 or 30 at the end or something, and you stuff it up, you don't quite get there. You might be in that same situation again 2 days later, and you can sort of think to yourself, right, what did I do the other day? That wasn't right. You know, maybe this time round I'm going to look to hit this bowler or hit this guy with the wind this way, or you know, just sum up the scenarios. And it's great that you're able to play so many back-to-back games against quality oppositions and be able to, I guess, learn how to play under pressure. So I think they're probably the biggest or the biggest things that I've taken away over the years. I think also training in India. Sometimes you face some wickets that are a bit tired, and you can learn and get a feel for, you know, facing a spinner, which ball's going to skid on, which one's going to spin. You know, I think it certainly helped my playing of spin bowling in those conditions. And yeah, it's just a great learning experience. You can bat for hours and hours in the nets, and
I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that. I mean, in fact, I remember watching, as I say, I remember watching you and Ben batting in Jaipur for nearly 2 hours, and I said to Ben afterwards, don't you get bored batting all that time? You know, it was like being at a fireworks display, actually. A dark night, the white balls flying into the sky in all directions. And I said, don't you get bored? And he said, no, I could have batted another 2 hours. And I suppose you're the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as the bowlers want to keep lining up and coming in, then absolutely. And I guess that's one of the best parts of being in India. There's so many quality young bowlers that want to just keep on bowling to you. And while they want to do that, I'll continue to face them. So yeah, it's
you're
great.
merciless. You're merciless. You're gonna ruin a lot of bowlers' careers because they're going to be completely dead on their feet. They aren't going to be able to run in anymore. What about our book is also about the future of cricket, you know, and maybe the lessons not only that the IPL has given, but also the extraordinary situation of the pandemic. What do you think of the situation, the state of world cricket now? And if you had sort of one or two bits of advice going forwards, what would they be, maybe? That's a big question, I appreciate, but
it's a tough question. Yeah. Yeah, I think cricket's in a good place at the moment. You know, I like the new Test Championship that makes you know, every game relevant as such. So you're striving towards something. I think that's a great thing that's been brought in. You know, T20 cricket is just, you know, you see the crowds that come to the games, and you know, the viewers on television. You know, it's still a huge sort of powerhouse. So I think it's you know, it's a terrific format of the game. And I guess the one that's been talked about for a long time is one-day cricket, whether that's going to continue to, I guess, blossom.
50 over, you mean, basically? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, you know, there might be some tweaks and things that need to happen over the years to keep that form of the game important, or whatever you want to say. But I think it's a great form of the game as well. You know, I love playing all three. So yeah, I don't know, to answer your question anymore. I like cricket the way it is at the moment. You know, you see different tournaments, I guess, popping up around the world. I've heard so many good things about the T10, so getting even shorter.
You don't mind sort of flipping between formats?
No, I think it's a good challenge for international players. I think the ones that are able to adapt the quickest are the ones that are probably the most successful. So, you know, for me personally, I think I only need a couple of training sessions to get myself in the rhythm of the game that I'm going to be playing next. So, you know, everyone's different, the way they prepare and things like that. But yeah, I think the ones that are able to adapt the quickest between formats are probably the ones that are the most successful.
It's 10 years since you made your Test debut against Pakistan, bizarrely at Lord's. What sort of player were you then? What sort of cricketer were you then? And you batted at number 8 in that Test, and you took 3 wickets with your leg spin. So can you remember what sort of cricketer you were then?
Yeah, I was a bit of everything, really. I I remember, obviously, post Shane Warne, they were looking for a spinner to fill that void. And I happened to end up being one of the probably, I don't know, 11 to 14, I don't know how many guys we used, blokes past him before obviously Nathan Lyons come along and taken that spot with both hands. But I remember I've always been more of a batter than a bowler. And I just remember playing for New South Wales, and they wanted to sort of drop me down the order and just to focus on my bowling, because they thought, that's my way into the Australian side. And so I started, I was batting a little bit lower. I think I was down at number 6 and maybe even 7 and 8 for a few games at some point, just to work on my bowling, really. Which, I didn't really like at the time, because all I wanted to do was bat. But that was probably my, I guess, undoing as a bowler, particularly a leg spinner. I think you need to work so hard and rigorously in the nets on your bowling, and all I wanted to do was just bat in the nets and then come out and bowl in the game every now and again. So I was kind of forced to bowl in the nets, and then that's how it all started. And then played my first 2 tests, got dropped, and then I thought, right, what's my actually not at that stage. And then I sort of carried on just doing a little bit of bits and pieces, working on both, but kind of not devoting all my time to one or the other. Then I played the 3 tests in 2010-11 against England, batting at 6 and bowling a little bit. And then, got dropped at that stage, and it was like, right, what do? I think I need to either go down the spin bowling option or go down the batting option. And for me, that was a pretty easy answer. Like I said, I've always just loved batting, and I felt like I was starting to find a formula that could work. So I wanted to just focus all my hours in the nets on my batting and my fielding when I needed to, and just not let the burden of bowling sort of get in my way. Like I said, you've got to bowl so many hours in the nets being a leg spinner. So it was focusing on that. And I think it was probably, looking back now, one of the better decisions I've made.
Definitely. What was that formula then? Because I know, when you were sort of 16, you or even, younger, you spent a lot of time, I think, with your father, didn't you? And to a lesser extent, Trent Woodhill, just honing a method. So in a way, was the formula you discovered sort of almost going back to what you used to do as a kid?
I think it was just, for me, it was not trying to please anyone and just finding my way to play. So I remember Trent Woodhill, who I worked with for a few years there, probably between like 16 and I think I had a hit with him, I reckon, when I was 20, 21 as well. And I remember him saying to me, he was throwing me balls, and I hit a ball off stump straight down the ground. And he's like, why don't you just hit that through the leg side? And I was like, I don't know, that's kind of, it's textbook almost, to hit a ball on off stump kind of straight down the ground. Why do I hit it to the leg side? And I think I remember him saying something like, why don't you just hit it where the fielder isn't, essentially? You've got both options. You can hit the ball straight, or you can hit it to where the fielder isn't. And, that's batting, isn't it? You're trying to hit the gaps, and batting is about scoring runs. So why play a ball that's on middle stump to mid on and hit it straight to mid on? Why don't you whip it through mid wicket for 4, so it was finding the sort of balance. But at that stage, I was also working a lot on my defense. That was really important to me. Knowing when my off stump was, leaving the ball. I used to have a bit of a different setup. I used to tap my bat just before the bowler bowled the ball, and at that stage, I think my head was kind of dropping, so my eyes weren't level, my balance wasn't quite right. So I started to just hold the bat up. Everything just sort of felt a lot better. I had my eyes level and everything, and I just felt I don't know, a lot more stable at the crease. And I was batting on middle stump at that stage, like I'd done pretty much for my whole career. And then, yeah, it wasn't until, you know, I got another opportunity playing for Australia. I played, I think, the whole Ashes over in England, where I just batted on middle stump and played the way I had been playing. And then we came back home for the Ashes series here and played the same way the first 2 tests, and then got to the Wacker. And I remember Stokesy and Broady in particular were bowling a fair bit back of a length and quite short at me. And I just wasn't getting myself in a good position. So I just randomly decided, you know, I'm going to take middle and leg stump, and I'm just going to have a little shuffle and put some weight on my back foot and get myself in a better position. And so I started doing it, and, you know, they pitched a few balls up and I hit some nicely down the ground, and a couple of short ones I was getting out of the way, and I was pulling them, and everything just sort of clicked into place. I thought, geez, this is, why have I waited so long to do this?
Yeah.
And that over time's got a little bit bigger and bigger, my prelim movement. But, you know, I know my game, and I know where my stumps are now, that, you know, I'm able to get myself in a position where I'm comfortable in the way I'm playing, and sort of able to dictate terms at times. And yeah, it's sort of progressed over the years, and there we are.
So in a way, I was wondering whether this was a calculated formula for making runs, as in there are less fielders on the leg side, and the average ball from a right arm bowler is angled in towards the stumps, and the natural side to hit it is the leg side anyway. So I was going to ask whether it was more of a calculated thing, or whether it was a natural thing for you to do, or whether it was a bit of both.
Not really. I was kind of, the way I would go across my stumps and get to where I get to, I basically know that anything outside my eye line is not hitting my stumps. So that's a start. So I can just leave anything outside my eye line. And then basically it's like, if the ball's on my stumps, use my bat. If it's you know, if I'm missing it, I'm probably in some trouble, but I'd back myself to hit the ball, you know, 99 times out of 100, hopefully. And every now and again, I'll miss one. I'll say, well done, bad luck, Steve. We'll move on. But yeah, I think it's just about finding a formula that works for me. And I think that's the same with any individual. I think the game would be boring if everyone batted the same, you know, so find what works for you. Obviously, I think in the longer forms of the game in particular, a good defense is really important, and being able to be like disciplined and patient and things like that. A good defense is really important, but yeah, just finding a formula that allows you to score runs and that you're comfortable with, and yeah, just do it to the best of your ability, I guess.
So in a way, you know, it's, people have sort of said you're unorthodox and everyone else is orthodox, but perhaps it's the other way round, actually. Perhaps you are the orthodox method because you're hitting the ball where there aren't fielders, which is the purpose of batting.
Well, that's it. I don't know what's orthodox or unorthodox. You know, I just do me and do it to the best of my ability. And you know, I've learned a lot over the years and got, you know, more experience the more I've played, and understand, you know, different tempos of the game, and, you know, when to up the ante, when to, you know, rein it back in. And I think one of the best things that I've sort of learned over the years is also catching my thoughts. You know, I think the mental side of the game is probably 90% of the game. So being able to catch my thoughts, you know, like there's sometimes out in the middle where, you know, I might be facing someone and I feel in a good rhythm, and it's like, I just want to smack this bloke back over his head. But then being able to catch it and go, right, you know, that's not the right thing to do right now. Yes, you know, I might be able to do it 9 out of 10 times, but what if it's the 10th time and things don't work out, and I'll be sitting back in the sheds and I'll be angry at myself for playing some stupid shot. So put your head back down and concentrate on the next ball. And yeah, I think that's one of the things I've been able to learn over time is catching my thoughts and stopping, myself from giving into urges to play different shots and things like that.
I've studied Bradman's method a bit, and there have been comparisons made, certainly in terms of performance, with you and Donald Bradman, which I know are very flattering. I'm sure you find those flattering, but there are similarities in the way that you play as well. Have you watched video of Bradman or read about him much, or is it just a natural coincidence, really?
No, I really haven't watched much at all on Bradman. Obviously, a fair bit before my time. But yeah, look, he obviously had a method that worked for him, and
he went back. He went pretty much back. I mean, this shot here shows, a typical shot. He tended to get outside off stump and hit a lot okay. through the leg side, and he played that swivel pull shot, right. which you do as well. And he also kept the ball on the ground pretty much. Played it very late. Looked to make the bowler bowl kind of where he wanted to, I suppose. And but and also he had that sort of slightly circular batting motion as well in his back lift. But you're saying all that's just coincidence. Maybe then the fact that it's coincidence proves that it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon I got the sort of go out with my hands and the bat probably from Mark Wall more than anyone. He was probably the person I love watching as a kid, and he sort of used to bring the bat out and round. So your hands kind of you get in that sort of muscle memory, and it's hard to change that kind of thing from when you're young. So I guess that's where it probably started for me, and just sort of carried on doing it.
I'm just going to show you a shot here. This one. I was trying to find got another shot of yours here.
Okay.
Where is it? Just trying to find it actually.
You're right.
This one. Talk us through this shot.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Stokesy was bowling, and I actually thought it was going to be an in-swinger, like his action.
You can actually remember the ball.
I remember it, yeah. I think I was on 48. I reckon it took me to 50. And I thought from his, he's got that kind of action where he gets over the I find it really weird that he's able to swing the ball away with the way that he kind of bowls.
I was exactly the same, actually. I was exactly the same. In the end, I bowled slightly beyond the vertical, and the seam would come down slightly at an angle. Yeah. So it actually makes it easier to reverse swing the ball.
Yeah. So I think I actually, from memory, thought it was going to be an in-swinger. So I kind of lured me into playing at the ball, and then it kind of it swung quite a fair way away from memory, and I'd already committed to the shot. So I was like, geez, I'd just go through with it. And fortunately, it hit the middle of the bat. Probably would have looked a bit silly had I got out, but hit the middle of the bat and went for 4 and brought up my 50 on the way to, one of my probably better innings. So, it was, I don't mean to play it like that, that's for sure.
I mean, it's fantastic to watch. I've so enjoyed, you've really replaced Shane Warne as someone fascinating to watch who, manages to find a way of, in his case, a way of taking wickets, and in your case, a way of making runs and frustrating everybody who plays against you, because everyone's trying to find. Are you aware of the kind of frustrations that you give, sort of nightmares that you give fielding sides?
I don't know. I hear things here and there, but that's my job to score runs, and if I'm causing other teams nightmares, it's probably a good thing for my team. So yeah, long may those nightmares continue.
I mean, you've had a tremendous career already, 10 years of fantastic performance. Obviously you had that low period after Sandpaper Gate when you were suspended for a year. Tell me about your engagement with Dr. Maurice Duffy and how he helped you sort of regain your desire to play and confidence again.
Yeah, look, I think the big things, I guess, that Maurice has helped teach me was what I touched on before about just catching my thinking. That's the key sort of thing that I guess I've taken out of our relationship. He had me doing this thing where you write down everything. So for 10 minutes, you just sit there and whatever's on your mind, you just write. So you see where your mind's at, you see what, what's going on in there, and you're brutally honest with everything you write down. So you sort of, you just see where your thinking is at that present time. So, I was able to see where my mind was going and things like that. So, I think the biggest thing was just being able to, I guess what came of that at the same time was what I was talking about, just being able to catch my thinking while I'm doing it, and then being able to make a decision from there. Because every decision we make has a consequence, good, bad, ugly, whatever. So making sure that, in life and in cricket, I'm making good decisions consistently.
So is it a question of almost taking a deep breath before you do something, really?
Yeah, I think so. That's certainly part of it. Yeah, but sometimes you don't have the time to do that either. You just have to, I guess, try and slow it down as much as you can, and just play on instinct a bit at the same time, and just trust it.
How do you relax? What things do you do that help you? Saying you're in the middle of a test series like last summer, the Ashes. I mean, how can you? Yeah. And is it important to try and detach yourself?
Yeah. So away from cricket, you're talking?
Well, either away from cricket or indeed during a series. I suppose during a series you're very focused.
Yeah, very focused. But I think for me, I just try and switch my brain off. Easier said than done. I actually do a lot of my visualization while I should be sleeping, to be honest.
Because you said actually during that Ashes series you had a lot of sleepless nights. So
it's all
that's
all
what sort of that's rehearsal, is it? That's sort of thinking about
pretty much,
your game.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Brody running at me with 3 slips, point, mid off, looking at where my options are to score, how he's looking to get me out, like all positive stuff. And, if anything negative pops in, I let it go as quickly as possible. But, it's not the right time to be doing it while I should be sleeping, but it probably adds up as the series goes on. I think for me, I just try and relax. I like to just chill, watch a movie, play a bit of guitar. That takes my mind off things. If my wife's with me, I'll, go out to dinner or just chill and get some room service and watch a movie with her or a TV series or something. I just try as much as I can to switch my mind off the game, but sometimes it just creeps in and keep thinking about it.
Is there anything that you've done recently, sort of charity work or, engaging with people outside the game that sort of helped you get a perspective?
Yeah, I've been working with an organisation called Gotcha for Life, talking about mental health, particularly with men and young men. I think it's, I know here in Australia that the suicide rates are, 6 men, 2 women a day committing suicide. And, those rates are staggeringly high for 25 million people. And no doubt this pandemic probably, isn't doing those numbers any favours either. Trying to create an awareness around mental fitness, and particularly with blokes being able to talk about, what they're going through. It's kind of been that old school sort of mentality that blokes, just get on with it, mate, you'll be fine, and bottling things up. And for me, I think, that's the wrong way to do things. I think blokes in this day and age should be able to talk about what they're going through, get things off their chest, because, the more you don't talk about things that you're going through, it sort of just bottles up and gets to a point where the bubble just bursts, really. And you know, when it gets to that point, you're hurting people around you that care about you and things like that. So, you know, Gus and I go out to schools and talk to young kids. You know, it could be an audience of 20, it could be an audience of 1,200, and just get these kids engaged and, you know, finding for them, it's about finding someone to talk to, you know, whether it be their parents or, you know, a friend at school or, you know, a professional, whatever it is, you know, just being able to talk and get things off their chest and sort of know that everything's going to be okay. And I know when you're going through dark times, like, you feel like everything's just closing in on you. You get that shortness of breath and everything just feels awful. But, you know, time sort of heals things, and the more you can just get through it and keep working and talk about it, you certainly start feeling better. So it's been good working with Gus and just getting, you know, a bit of a different perspective and, yeah, trying to create that awareness around mental health and fitness.
And I suppose in the end, you know, clearly at some point you're going to end up in a very important captaincy role. You know, obviously the IPL is a first step to that. So all this will probably factor in really healthily and helpfully to a sort of future as a captain again. And I'm not saying you want to be captain now. You know, Tim Payne's in charge, and, you know, he's obviously doing an excellent job. But I guess it will make you a more rounded character to be a captain in future.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like you said, Tim's doing a terrific job. So's Aaron Finch. So it's really not in the front of my mind at the moment. You know, I'm just comfortable playing and enjoying playing. You know, I'll captain Rajasthan and do the best I can for Manoj and all the team there. So you know, I'm really looking forward to that. But, you know, international wise, you know, I'm not about it. I'm just playing, enjoying it, and, you know, just loving it.
Quick fire round, 5 quick questions, and then we're done. If you had a dinner with 3 special people you could invite apart from your wife, who would they be? Who would you love to invite? And it could be dead or alive.
Oh, geez.
Just one if you want.
Let's go with one. Geez. We'll go with, I don't know, Sachin Tendulkar. Just admired him the way he played.
I'm going to see him next week.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Nice.
I'm hoping to do a sort of book and a digital coaching kind of thing with him, actually.
Yeah. Tell him I'd like to have dinner with him then, will you?
I will, absolutely, I will. I mean, that would be a fascinating exchange of ideas and stuff, wouldn't it? Be brilliant.
Yeah.
Book you'd take on holiday?
A book that I do take?
Or I would take? Or have taken?
I just finished reading a Ride of a Lifetime, the story of Robert Eager, the Disney boss.
Okay.
And that was a fascinating read. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I think I'll probably read it again at some stage. But yeah, great read.
Song you relax to, if not your own?
Song I relax to. I've got a bit of a routine actually. If I'm listening to music before I get to the ground, if I'm just on the way to the ground or whatever, and I'm listening to music, I always play one song last before I get off the bus, and that's 23 by Jimmy Eat World. Why, I don't really know, but it's sort of, I just started doing it probably 5 years ago, and it's just become a bit of a thing. But I don't have to listen to music. I'm not kind of like that, but if I do, I make sure I play that as my last song.
Favorite film?
Favorite film? Oh dear. Shawshank.
Okay, very good.
Delta.
And something you always have with you, apart from your phone, something you nearly always, and apart from your wallet, I suppose, and except for your Nasser Hussein, who never has a wallet with him. Anything that you, anything that you sort of superstitiously take with you, or always have with you all the time? Your bat, maybe.
Well, I've always got my bats with me. I'll say now my guitar. That's probably changed over the years. I've only been playing for 2 years, but yeah, I like to have my guitar with me everywhere now.
And how did that start?
In the year that I was banned, I kind of thought, you know, I need to do something. I want to do something a bit different. So I thought about learning a language. I started learning Mandarin for a couple of sessions on Duolingo, and it was a bit much for me. So I thought, gee, no, I'm not going down that path. Because I remember reading a book a few years ago. I think it was called Industries of the Future, and it said things that you should teach your kids should learn was Mandarin and coding the computer. So I thought, why not start learning Mandarin? I lasted about 2 sessions and I was like, nah, no good. So I thought, why not start playing guitar? So got into that and got through the first couple of weeks, which is always hard. Bit of a sook with my fingers, so it hurt for a couple of weeks, and then hardened up and got the calluses and good to go now. I can play for hours.
And what are you? What sort of guitarist are you? Are you an Ed Sheeran type, or Joe Walsh, you know, going for the big solos, or you a bit more of a strut?
No, a bit of Ed Sheeran stuff I've tried to play. I'm learning a song at the moment, This City by, I think what's his name? Sam Walker, maybe? Yeah, it's actually quite a popular song at the moment.
It's quite nice and easy to learn guitar now, isn't it? Because you can just follow the music on an iPad and get the chords and stuff. Or do you actually, do you experiment?
I can't read music. I have no idea. So, you know, go on, you know, you can go on YouTube and get some lessons just watching people, or Ultimate Guitar, I think, is the app I use, where it just tells you what chord it is and stuff. So I know the chord and what time to play it, and along with the lyrics and stuff. So that's been nice to use that.
I wonder if you'll become I wonder if you'll become a guitarist, you know, like your batting, slightly sort of, you know, alternative maybe, you know, not playing conventional chords.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
And I mean, lockdown, would you say that your guitar playing and maybe your running have been the 2 things that you've been able to improve on? You know, if you had to say lockdown's giving you one new skill, what would that be? Would it be one of those?
Yeah, I think, long distance running and probably strength. I certainly feel I've sort of had a bit of a home gym set up downstairs where I was able to just pop down and, you know, pump out some weights, and probably the strongest I've ever been. So you know, I guess that's one positive, I guess, out of the whole situation that's gone on in the world at the moment.
That's ominous for the world's bowlers. And